Indeed.
Okay, Evil for Evil. I liked it better than the first one.
Same, actually. All
Same.
right, everybody can go home.
Too, I think. I don't have mine. It's in the other room. Don't care. Where's my Kindle? Christina, do you know where my Kindle is? I should have been prepared. It's entirely possible it's within my backpack. Anyway, mine's on the
Blame the water heater.
But I also have that one. So yeah, Evil for Evil. It's good. Jimmy, go read Folding Knife. Why are you?
Yeah.
Though, I mean, I need to read Darkness That Comes Before and see if it's as bleak as this freaking series is.
If we can trust Philip's review, it does sound like that. I mean, I watched his review. I was like, okay, I am not going to read this book. Immediately decided.
Yeah.
And then you read The Company and Evil for Evil, and you're like, maybe that's not that bad.
Look, I was talking to Anitha yesterday. Yeah, Anitha does have a banner bonnet, but I was talking to her yesterday, right after the Mistress thing. That this series is the bleakest Parker I've read so far. Like, Folding Knife is the least bleak, and then the rest are pretty bleak and cynical. Like Hammer's bleak, Company's bleak. I forget what Sharp's ends at, but Savage's is bleak. And then this series, like, what even is happening? I don't know. I hate everybody, and I really hope that everyone in this series dies, and soon. For this, I mean, we pick up here with it picks up like right after the first one. And it I was reading Goodreads reviews before I started reading it, and there are people witching and moaning that it felt like a lot of the same beats as the first book. And I mean, I get what they're saying, but I don't agree.
But they're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a further exploration. Like, I mean, I will say, like, reaching the third book, like, I am a little tired of knowing how a factory works. Like, I'm a little tired of the nuts and bolts of like how something is built. I can't make myself care anymore. I'm like, please.
Or how to ruin a mine without ruining a mine.
No, I mean, that's at least interesting, but like literally, like, how to build something, like how to, like, oh, and then they poured this, and I'm just like, I don't care anymore.
How to make
This is the third book of this. Like, like, it's always something new in each Parker book. Like, it's a new thing that he's obsessed with. I can't. There's, I don't know. Like, literally, the last pages I read in the escapement, like the last one before I put it down yesterday, I was just like, oh man.
You already started.
Yes, I told y'all that. I told you that last week. I told you that, like, at the beginning of this week that I was starting it because I couldn't read anything else. Sophia, stop. But I mean, again, Pete and Evie are going to start tomorrow, Anitha, so they'll be done like long before I read another chapter. So,
plot twist: we are not going to be starting. Well, I'm not going to be starting tomorrow.
So. I just got a Wickwire Watch in the mail.
Nice.
Read that.
Very cool. I enjoyed that. What's up, Amanda? At any rate, thoughts?
Yes.
Book good. I really like book good. No, there you go. DD's worth it. So, okay. I agree. Evil for Evil. So I was very pleasantly surprised with how much I loved Evil for Evil, because I really, really love Devices and Desires. And somehow KJ Parker was just as, if not better, in Evil for Evil. And I'm really excited to see how he ends it all with the last book. And I agree, he does kind of like the complaints of like, oh, it's the same beats, but that's KJ Parker. He has a structure to all of his stories, whether it be short form or long form, at least of what I've read so far. And I like that. Like, it works for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And I thought I liked Dorinja, and then I didn't, and then I was back on the Ziani train because
I'm not gonna lie, I love Dorinja. I thought Dorinja was an incredibly interesting character. Like,
he's fascinating.
Yeah,
but I hate him.
me and Anitha are like diametrically opposed to you two in that we will take Dorinja over Ziani any day of the week. Like, I know, like, I get what y'all are saying, like, oh, it's horrible, but it's the whole statistic thing. It's like, oh, it's terrible when one person commits a murder, but you know, if someone commits 10,000 murders, oh, well, it's just a number. Like, look,
technically, Ziani has done nothing.
The problem is that argument is trash. Like,
the problem is
the fact that he has not held a gun and like killed 10,000 people on his own. Like, that argument is specious at best. He has engineered the downfall, like,
of 2 different countries.
Tens of thousands of deaths are directly on Ziani's head. You know what? And
I am more of a fan of characters that are in control of themselves. Dorinja refuses to control himself, and that is irritating.
Dorinja is in control of himself in every instance except when he's not.
Yeah.
He is a so
it's like the least
Ziani is a sociopath.
Characters.
Real quick. Ziani is a sociopath. Dorinja is a psychopath.
Yes.
Because he does not recognize he recognizes what he's doing. He doesn't see it as wrong, good. He has no more. It's not even a moral compass. Like, he is totally aware but unaware at the same time, and he's just like, oh well, you know.
That makes Gianni more dangerous because he's capable of doing the damage every day, every minute. But Dorinja does that only when he's in that phase. So relatively, Gianni is more dangerous.
There's two things that Parker continues to explore in this series. Is one, and for Pete being like, I like people who are controlling themselves. One, Ziani isn't. Ziani continues to assert that he has no choice. That he is moved along by the only choice he can make. He is carried along by the tide of no choice. Like, Ziani continues to say, "Oh, like, it's out of my control."
He's out of my control. Lying to himself.
Can I read one paragraph from 3rd chapter? He thought about the Vadani, instinctively comparing them with his own people and finding them wanting on pretty well every score. Their deaths would be no great loss. When their culture and society been wiped out and forgotten, the world would be poorer by a few idiosyncratic methods of trapping and killing animals and a fairly commonplace recipe for apple sauce. Of course, that didn't make it right. You know, this tells his character very clearly to us. He knows what he's doing is wrong, but he doesn't even care. He was like, yes, they'll all will die, entire culture, entire society will be wiped out, but he doesn't care. He doesn't give value to those people.
You could chalk that up to him. He's just superior. Like, he thinks they're savages, which I understand. But the other theme, to go back to Dorinja, is the fact that, like, what is evil really? Like is it evil when with Dorinja? Like, they talk about Dorinja specifically when it comes out about what's wrong with Dorinja. No one will do anything because he's a net good. And I mean, and to be fair, Dorinja is a net good if you have no morality. If morality doesn't enter the equation, Dorinja is a net good. So, like, the whole book, Ziani too, the whole book is about overlooking people's evil for the their usefulness. Like, that's why even when they find out that Ziani tried to frame Meal Dukas and all this stuff, like, no one ever does anything because Ziani is useful. So, you know what I mean?
So I would, going back to Ziani saying that he has no choice. So like Pete said, he's not lying to himself, but the choices that, because he sees everything literally in an engineering mindset, he's working within the tolerances and shifting to make sure that everything stays on course. Mm-hmm. So he is still making choices, but he's assessing the situation to make sure that everything stays within what do they call it? Not the tolerance, but the
Specifications.
yes, thank you. So yeah, so
But
Yeah.
so at the same time with Ziani, he also admits that he made the machine. There are multiple times throughout both of these books where he's like, I made this. I did this. He's not
Mhm.
just saying, oh, I have no agency. He literally admits at other times that he does have agency. Like, sure, this is
Always says he has no choice. And the real tragedy is that Ziani didn't do us all a favor and kill himself when he realized that he was extraneous, like that he was superfluous to the thing. Like he holds the scalpel or whatever, the razor, he holds whatever it is up to his neck and then doesn't do anything because he's like, oh wait, well maybe I do need to be here, even though he literally just said, oh well, I guess it doesn't need me anymore because like I'm extraneous to the machine. And he still didn't do it because he's a coward. Like, he should have done everyone a favor and just see you, Ziani. Like, bye. It is Anitha and I were talking. I hope so badly that Meal Dukas kills Ziani in book 3.
Yes.
I'm going to be really disappointed if Meal Dukas does not kill Ziani in book 3. That's what I want. That's all I want.
no.
Okay? You don't want Ziani to get killed? You're horrible.
No.
You
I was sorry. I was responding. I got sidetracked by Mitch's comment. No, I would like Meal Dukas to have a redemption where he comes back and kills Ziani. But with that also,
Evie doesn't. Evie wants Ziani to live.
I
Wait,
honestly
he
want his
wants
wife
to live
not
happily
to live him.
ever after in his palace.
Do you want him to be the new ruler of Mazentia, Evie?
No, I want Mazentia to burn.
Though his wife doesn't want him. Answer me.
but does she not want him?
No, obviously. We are
She's
talking
terrified of the idea of him coming back.
Yeah.
What if she's actually in love with
writing
James or
he is
whatever?
writing she is writing letters to, I'm guessing, Bionis. What is that big guy name? Leader who left.
Boyanes.
Yeah.
Is the guy you're
I
thinking
don't-
of.
I don't think she is. I think she's writing
Yes.
Ziani.
Evie and I already argued about this. It doesn't make any sense that she's writing to Ziani. I don't know how. She says, you don't come and see me anymore. And Ziani has no way to get inside Mazentia. That's what keeps me from thinking that it could be Ziani.
I don't know. I don't know.
I bet
only
everything that is
dude?
Bionis. I bet everything.
It's the old wrinkly Cure Hardy.
Okay. Can we are out of order, everything. Can we just start with overall thoughts and go in order?
Yeah, Evie
Yeah.
gave her overall thoughts.
Yes. Evie?
Yeah, so to finish my thoughts, the
Yes.
I think this book, yeah, this book was really perfect, a perfect example of KJ Parker's character work. He's able to use every single character in such a nuanced way. Not saying that like, oh, the good, everyone's bad, everyone's a horrible person, but you still feel for them. Like Beatrice, when her and oh my god, Orsia
Valence.
are talking, absolutely amazing.
When they actually talk.
Yeah. And how he flips everything. Like, he finally makes Orsia get a backbone. And with any other author, it would have seemed out of the blue and just random. But there's just a subtlety to his characters growing and, like, evolving. So it makes their actions or words not... It makes it seem natural, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. But anyways, Pete, what are your thoughts? Overall thoughts?
I really liked it. I really liked Duty is Worthless, as you can tell. That whole storyline with Meal, and then how that bled into everything else with Valens. a little bit with Orsia, but he wasn't. I'm kind of glad that Orsia wasn't like crazy big in this one,
Mhm.
because once he didn't get like a big change at the beginning, I was like, ah, Orsia doing the same thing. Um, I kind of wanted to see more about that salt mine, but that didn't come to fruition this time around. I
I don't.
wanted to hear more about what he was, what Ziani was gonna do with the salt mine. But that nothing happened with that. It was so weird.
He didn't want the salt. He
He's
wanted
not going to do.
he
Yeah,
wanted the
he
salt.
just wants the root,
Yeah,
secret root.
Yeah,
That's why.
he wanted the root, but I wanted him to actually like make money with salt and stuff and like undercut the people who are actually selling
yeah,
it.
time. Who's he selling it to? Who's he selling it
The
to?
Byzantines, of course,
They're
and
not
they
going to buy
wouldn't,
from Ziani.
they wouldn't know.
I mean, maybe you can write fan fiction about that.
Hey,
KJ Parker's one and only fan fiction writer about a salt mine.
I love it.
It'd work. Yeah, I'm super excited about the Cure Hardy. Like that was really interesting, and the old wrinkly guy, and all of a sudden coming out of the desert. Some of the numbers were weird. So I guess when they talked about the Oasis, I imagine like some small, almost pond with a bunch of grass around it. And then they're like, "Yeah, we have like 500 people with us," and they all were able to get in.
Yeah,
And
but like the Great Oasis of Siwa, like if you played Assassin's Creed Origins,
yeah,
like oases don't have to be small. We just think of them as such.
It's
true.
not like Disney's Aladdin where it's like a little pond. And then
Yeah, blame Aladdin. Yeah, that's probably it. The childhood memory of the Oasis from Aladdin. It's
what
wild
about
to
you,
think that an
Anitha?
Oasis that big would be hidden.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I have a lot to talk about it. See, initially I started enjoying it
You
more
don't get a
than
lot, Anitha. You get an overall view. You don't get a lot, so you better trim it up.
not fair.
Why is that not fair?
It's been 17 minutes. I only got chance now. Okay, anyway.
I think we're all
You
slap happy.
literally are the only person who's read any quotes from it.
One quote. One.
Okay, to our what 0? That wasn't mean, Sal.
Okay. See, but definitely in the middle part, I felt like I prefer Parker standalones where that we spend less time on that bleak part. In this Since trilogy, that entire bleak thing where this main character using other people and other people being dumb, we there was a lot of focus on that. I felt miserable every time Gianni planned something or interacted or making a fool of something. I Every time I was like, okay, I cannot take this much. This needs to be a standalone. That entire 700-page book of that made me miserable. So I definitely felt that way. But by the end, I mean, obviously the number of days I took to finish this, I forgot the my misery in the middle. But by the time I enjoyed it a lot. But having said that, the three standalones I read of Parker, those characters, I really found them intelligent. We saw that in action. In this, though Gianni is very intelligent, I think luck made a huge play and he took a lot of risks actually. He relied on them, and also I felt that Parker made other characters dumb so that Gianni wins and the plot goes forward. I never felt that way in other books. I felt those characters actually intelligent, not being other characters being very dumb actually. Even if you can take Hammer without spoilers, I never felt Furio or Furious. that guy's name is Furio, right? Main character's friend. Okay. I never felt Furio or his uncle dumb actually. They're like normal guys, regular guys. But in this, I mean, there are no regular guys. Gianni, very intelligent, or other like very dumb, stupid. I That's how I felt. I mean, Parker I understand why he had to make that
That's
choice.
not what she's saying, Sal. And if that's what she's saying, then I'm gonna make her be quiet. I'm gonna cut her mic so we don't have to hear anymore because that's not what she's saying. Okay, finish.
Yeah, that's how I felt actually, especially with Valence, because in first book, it at least that's how I inferred it. Like Valence is like at least not, if not as intelligent as Gianni, a little bit clever actually. In this, he's completely stupid. But at the end, actually, in Gianni, Dorenja's confrontation with Gianni, it was explained that Gianni played on Valen's emotions and crushed his as a person, so he took advantage of his vulnerability. It does make sense, but it did not stop me from being angry actually and disappointed.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The
and oh, sorry, go ahead.
it's Ziani, like the Mezzantines don't think like Valens and the quote unquote rest of the savages who then think the Cure Hardy are the savages. They don't think the same way. And that's why only Dorinja is the only one that catches on. And it bothers me too. But it more bothers me because I really just want someone to stop Ziani. The problem is that like the Arameans and the Vidani already think the Mezzantines are so superior to them in like every way. So they play into that. Like they just fall for Ziani's stuff because um they they can't understand, like it doesn't occur to them that Ziani is the one betraying them because they know how the Mezzantines work. Like they know how the Mezzantines go after people who have betrayed them. They saw Ziani mow down thousands of his own countrymen. And I from their perspective, I do see how like it would be impossible to suspect Ziani at that point because there's no reason he would be doing that. And even Celis doesn't understand until he kind of does. But the chapter like when Dorenja confronts Ziani and says, "Hey, so wouldn't it be really interesting if I it took me a minute to figure out, but the pieces fell into place. Wouldn't it be really fascinating if I told Valens everything that I know? Wouldn't that be interesting? Like seeing Ziani scared, seeing someone have Ziani's number was brilliant. Like I love that we got that where Dorenja, and he's just saying it like with his weird spider, like nasty, dirty ponytail, like Dorinja's so creepy. But I just love the fact that he's like, no, you're gonna help me build this cannon or whatever. Because if not, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go tell Valens what I suspect. And we'll see what he does there. And Valens, I really think that Valens is he's just unraveling. Like the pressure's way too much. He never wanted any of this responsibility. Like he hated all the crap that his dad did. He's just doing it because he thinks he's supposed to, and he doesn't like this responsibility any more than Orsea does. And I think he's just really unraveling. And I think it really shows in chapter 23, which is one of my favorite chapters in any. Like I'm just looking at the quotes I have, and when we talk about it, I'll read some of them. Many of my quotes are from that chapter where Valens and he talks with Mil Dukas, he talks with Orsea, he talks with Beatriz, and it's just so good because we see a man who's just done. Like he has reached the end. He's like, I don't care. Like I don't care. Like I don't care. I don't care. He's tired. He's had a long day dealing with students, and he's just like, you know what? Just whatever. And the passage I'm going to read later, where he knows the right thing to do. Like he knows the right thing to do, and he chooses not to do it. Like he chooses not to because you know what? He's like, you know what? That'd be inconvenient and difficult, and I'm not going to do that. So instead, I'm going to do the petty thing, and I'm going to I'm going to arrest Mildukis. I'm going to accuse Orsea of treason, and I'm going to try to get with his widow, despite the fact that she told me that Orsea is better than me because he's not the kind of person who would fall in love with another man's wife. And it's just, I thought that the character work done in that particular chapter was just fantastic. Like, I thought it was so good. Sorry, Evie, go ahead.
Do you think
No,
that's
go
the
ahead.
moment that he tried to make it easier for him? Like, going back to the analogy that he made himself at the very beginning of the book with the causing the ring in the loop to start going back and forth, and it was easier.
Where he always cheats. He has to cheat to win.
He has to make things harder to cheat.
Yeah.
And do you think it's actually the opposite of that, where he tried to basically stop the ring from swinging by doing the right thing?
Oh, well, sorry, you just reminded me about something else at the beginning that I highlighted when he's reading about the Falcons and about how Falcons they'll go, even though they know it's a trap, they'll walk right into it anyway. I highlighted that. I'm like, okay, well, here's what's going to happen to Valens. Like, I knew it was going to happen to Valens just because of that. Like, that wasn't even subtle. Like, it was so on the nose. I was like, well, all right, Valens, rip Valens, but he survived.
Somehow.
That's a good point, Pete.
Yeah, I think for me, it's not necessarily that Parker's making everybody dumb in comparison to Ziani to make him look more intelligent. I think it's more the mindset. So the Mezzantines and Ziani are machines, dare I say, mechanical in the way they look at things, which is actually proven not to be the case. It's just a Ziani thing, apparently, where he takes the engineering side of things it's so ingrained in him that he is basically the embodiment of a machine, where he has little to no emotions, no emotional reactions. He's just having these machinations in playing into these machinations or achieving these machinations, and everyone else that's not a Mezzantine is driven by emotion, whether that's love, duty, mostly love and duty, and I think that's where the kind of separation is, and maybe not the disconnect, but the difference, the stark difference in characterization, because once you start seeing these characters like Valens and Orsea and Beatrice starting to react less on the emotions. I don't know how to say this, but like, once they start breaking character essentially and start, I don't know, not going based off of love and duty, it's where everything starts getting messy. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yes, sir. We'll read some quotes.
yes.
It's yeah. Like, I hate Valens in this. Like, I liked him in the other one, but this just like lays him bare, and he's not. I like that he like, we're seeing Parker is exposing him at the same time as Valens is having like his true self exposed. Like, he can't play the good Duke anymore. Like, he's just a petty man who never got over this one girl and has daddy issues. And so I don't like him, but I love in chapter 23, where right after Beatrice says, Orsea is not the guy that would, fall in love with some other guy's wife. And then Valen says, it's all right. Funny, really. I used to think that you brought out the best in me, and now it turns out you have the opposite effect. Shows how much I really know you. After all, it's different in letters. You can be who you wish you were instead of who you really are. And like, he's just like, yeah, I'm like, I said, because my buddy Finn. So I wrote this in the Evil for the Devices and Desires thing. My buddy Finn would take hours to compose a birthday card. to his friends. Like I'd be sitting at his house and it was someone's birthday, and he would spend like hours to our friends that were girls. The guys, he's like, whatever, here it is. But he would pour over the thing. He would write drafts, and it literally reminded me what Valens does in this. And Valens is crafting a version of himself that is interesting. She finds out earlier, like, yeah, I had this book and I read this thing in this book, and I'm like, I wanted you to think that I, knew about a bunch of stuff. And he just crafted this version of himself that was like, oh, witty, clever, oh, ha ha ha. And he's like, I'm nothing like that. Like, I'm,
their dialogue is so frank, actually.
yeah.
Between them.
He does Parker just does a great job. Go ahead, Evie. Looks like you wanted to read a quote.
So it's in chapter 23 as well, because apparently all the good stuff. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I have a lot of tabs. So, but switching gears a little bit, I honestly was kind of hoping that Orsia was going to like call Valens out for like, it all of a sudden appears that like Orsia always knew the entire time, because Orsia tells Valens actually quite a lot. Valens asks Orsia, "What the hell do you care about what Dorinja may have done?" And Orsia replies, "Actually, quite a lot. You may have forgotten, but he saved my wife's life when the Mezzantines ambushed your hunting party. Rather like being stabbed by a small child with a sharp knife." Suddenly, Valens didn't know what to say. "I know," Orsia went on. "Being under an obligation to someone like that, it throws everything out of true. It's a bit like owing your life to a man who's been trying to seduce your wife. It beats me, I must admit. What would you do in a situation like that?"
Oh, that's Orsia calling out Valens. I think that's Orsia being like, dude, I know what this crap is about, because he knows that Valens has been sending her letters. That's Orsia's one and only standing up and being like, he's being passive aggressive, but he's being like, it's like someone trying to seduce someone, it's his wife, because they're being so. I just love the.
But I wanted more of that. Like, it was just.
It's Orsia. That's the goodest you're gonna get. That's the best you're gonna goodest. That's the best you're gonna get. It's Orsia. Like, I'm shocked he said that.
And look what happened. His head rolled for it.
We never see him die.
True, but
Orsia's dead. It's not Meal Dukas. Like, Orsia's dead. Like, Orsia
doesn't have the duty to come back.
He doesn't have the wherewithal to find his way out of a wet paper bag. Like,
Sal, there were only 28.
I'm surprised he survived this long, actually.
Yeah. Doesn't Ziani have like a troop sitting at the mines, the silver mines, that are entirely loyal to him right now?
They are with Ziani now.
The miners.
He went and he brought them with him. They're the one who brought that merchant lady's body and helped frame Orsia.
Yeah, but I thought they all stayed at the mines.
No, they all.
No, they also are the ones that like
his personal army now.
Well, no, I thought they were the ones that brought all like the wagons and stuff to make everything slower.
Yeah, Sal. There's 23 chapters, or 28 chapters in the book. So 23.
Yeah, there are 28.
Yeah,
and each chapter is like around 30 pages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
23 to 30.
Can we
what? Okay. What surprised me was, in first book, when they told everything to Gianni about how their Ermia works, I was like, what kind of stupid people are these? They are giving away all their secrets to this foreigner. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, before evil for evil, I thought, okay, Valens would never let that happen. But that's exactly what they did. Valens gave that power to Gianni. That's when my misery started, and I was like, okay, I'm not enjoying it. I was like, I can say actually like step by step, Gianni took that power from Valence. He took control of Valence. I mean, Dorinja summarized it very well at the end. I understand how that happened, but I I felt miserable and I felt disappointed. And I wanted so badly for someone to step up to Gianni. That's why the confrontation between Daranja and Gianni made me so happy. It's like that's why I said, okay, Anita turned completely evil because I enjoyed the torture at the end.
All because he wants boom boom sticks, which is going to be great when the cannons hit the walls of Mezentia.
Yeah, there's no one to stand up to Ziani. Like no one thinks there's a reason to do it. The only one who knows that Ziani is not right is Mil Dukas, and Mil Dukas has given up, and it's just useless in this book, as he realizes, as he realizes that what was the point of anything that he did.
Yo, Meal Dukas is Jon Snow.
No, he's not. Please don't compare Mil Dukas to someone who is like a snooze fest, boring Gary Stew character. Mil Dukas is nothing like Jon Snow. Like,
Hey,
Jon
he got
Snow
this
is
random
boring.
scavenger. I'm pretty sure she's redhead girlfriend now.
So
And is conveniently dead.
what on earth how does that make them similar?
And he's gonna come back and save the day, even though that hasn't happened in Winds of Winter yet.
How does that make them similar? And also, how is Jon Snow saving the day stuck at the wall for 4 books? What is he saving the day from?
It's next book. You haven't been in the future yet.
You haven't read next book either. As far as I know, like I know exactly what Jon Snow is going to be doing in the next book. As far as I know from book 5,
Hanging around the
it's
wall.
nothing like Jon Snow. Get out of my face, Pete. Oh my gosh! Don't even try. Like, ugh, Martin's worst character.
It's been like 9 years since I read those.
If Male Lucas did not come back, like if he doesn't have a redemption arc, he will be worst character also in this trilogy. The time when he was totally given up, when he was arrested by those Magentines, when he was caught, when he has given up, when he was thinking about the philosophy of prey and predators, when he said that prey runs only to give exercise for predators, I was like, I just wanted to slap him. Oh my god, get a grip, man. I was so
Look.
sad that Jarnak, who fought till the end, died, and Emil is still alive. Actually, he should have redemption arc in the next book. Otherwise,
Look.
I'll be pissed.
Now, the smartest thing for Meal to do is to keep going with duty is worthless, and he doesn't owe anybody anything, so he's just going to leave because he thinks everybody else is dead already. So, like, his best bet is to go off in the wilderness and live alone with his scavenger girlfriend, whose husband is conveniently dead.
No, that's not possible. He will tell everyone he come across that I am Mil Lucas, come and kill me. So somebody will come and kill
No,
him.
he should just go back and live in the ducal mansion. The Mezzanines ain't going to do anything with it. They ain't got the money.
Mil Dukas is like, just like this, how he's a slave to duty, even when he doesn't want to be. The fact that he saves that Mezzantine courier, and then is like, yeah, so I'm Mil Dukas, head of the Iranian resistance. I know you'll probably tell everybody that I'm here, but I had to save you anyway. Also, please don't tell everybody I'm here. And then all of a sudden, the friggin' Mezzantine show up, and it's just like when he did that, I audibly was like, "What are you doing, Mil Dukas? Why are you doing that?" And I mean, I understand why. He can't, like they said it. He can't not do the right thing. Same with Orsea. They can't not do the right thing. Like that is who they are.
The gears that grind.
Let him save that person. Let him do the right thing. But just use your brain and don't tell your name to that person. He did not even ask.
Just call himself Deal Mucus.
Oh my gosh. Evie?
I got nothing.
No, you don't.
She doesn't care about Mel Lucas. She
You
cares
don't have to
only
talk
about.
about Neil Lucas. You look like you were looking up some quotes.
Oh no, I was trying to remember. It was mostly the end where they're basically joining up with the not the Cure Hardy. What's the tribe called?
The Aaron Chantat.
Aaron.
That. And Valens is basically gonna be like the adopted heir of the tribe, and just I don't know, that entire exchange was just really interesting, and it's kind of a cliffhanger, I guess. So I'm like, dang it, now I gotta know what happens.
I feel like that last chapter of the book should have been chapter 1 of the next book. Like all the interactions with the Aram Chatat with outside of Ziani, like Dorenja confronting Ziani, but Valen's talking to the Aram Chatat Brinkley dude should have been chapter 1 of the next book.
I don't think so, actually. I'm pretty happy with where it ended because.
It couldn't be chapter 1 of the next book because the next book has to start with if you want to, the fastest way to a man's heart is through his stomach, but the fastest way to a man's brain is through the eye socket. So that it couldn't be.
If Alan, don't spoil it for me, but if the escapement does not start with a scene of someone fencing and going through like the eye thing, I'm gonna give it 1 star.
I bet you it's gonna be Neil Dukas in a shed.
Do you have the book?
I do have the book.
Read the first sentence. You should see. Go see.
Yeah, the first sentence, sure, but dadgummit, where is it at?
You know, okay, while Evie is searching for that, after everything, after that Cure Hardy King rescues Valens, by that time Valens has given up. He's totally out of that good Duke character. He can't even be grateful to the king. He can't even be respectful to the king. That's when I was like, oh my god, I hate this character.
They've all turned into nihilists, and it makes me very happy.
Why does that make you happy, you weirdo? That's so weird, Evie. Why does that make you happy?
You know,
at the same time,
seeing myself in literature is great.
Oh my gosh.
Evie, no, you're not that person, please. At the same time, I don't want Valens to die because I want at least one person to survive Gianni's treachery. Maybe I want both Mir and Valens to survive. I don't see Valens surviving. I think he will die. I want him to know Gianni is the one who framed everything, who planned everything before dying, if he's going to die.
With that said, I just want to know why he created the doll in the first place.
Me too.
What doll?
For his daughter. That started this whole thing.
Boyan.
Oh, Gianni. Oh, I thought Valens.
Oh wait, Boyan's got like executed, didn't he?
See, during Selles' investigation, he read something like, or somewhere we got hint that someone asked Gianni to do that. Actually, his wife or somebody. There was some kind of foreshadowing. I don't remember how or when.
I read it and it's hilarious.
All 3 books started the same way. I mean, Alan, if I may ask, who in Selles? Huh? Is Selles learning fencing?
Right?
So, okay. So does this mean we're the next trilogy we're reading is the fencing trilogy, right? The Fencer.
I mean, that's the next trilogy I'm reading. Yeah. That's what I was going to read next year. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go from the beginning. I'm gonna read the Fencer trilogy and then Scavengers and then Two of Swords.
Nice.
And then the 16 Ways will be last.
Shad, sadly, I'm pretty sure they're never going to be audios.
That's not true. Like literally, as soon as I finish Philip's book, as soon as I finish Philip's book, I'm recording audio of the folding knife free and gratis. And I'm going to send it to KJ Parker and be like, hey, so I made this. You can have it. And then let me do the other ones.
Send it to
Thank you.
whoever has the rights to the audio and have them publish it.
Seriously, I'm going to be like, look, this is for you because I love your books. Please let me do them. That's what I'm going to do.
That's a good strategy because, like, at the very least, that's like a good, I don't know.
He's not in the process of freaking putting them into audio any other way. So
Yeah,
I might as well be like,
who has the rights though.
Although, Alan, how are you going to send him the audio? Are you going to put it on CD?
Yes, I'm gonna I'm gonna record it onto a cassette, and I'm gonna mail it to him.
He probably has a
I
cassette
don't know
player.
the address.
Are you gonna use the Pony Express?
I'll get the address from Zara. I'll
Carrier
probably
pigeon.
whatever I need to do. I'm gonna be like, look, boss, please, like, it's my dream. Just let me edit one. Like, you can just even keep this one. Let it be the folding knife. Get someone else to do the other ones. But like reading the Engineer Trilogy, I wanna narrate the Engineer Trilogy so bad.
Or instead of mailing, maybe you can go there.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, with the big raise I'm going to get next year as a public school teacher, I'll do that. Make sure I make sure.
How to say we will all do GoFund. GoFundMe.
Go see KJ Parker.
You know what we should do? We should do like a Discord server, like get together at his house and not tell him. We'll just all like show up.
We'll just go and knock on the door. Surprise!
We'll meet at the London airport, and then we'll just like we'll all like take a train out there and just like
KJ Parker Con.
Yes, exactly, and he won't even know. Like knock, 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 knock. We'll all go dressed as our favorite KJ Parker character. I'll cosplay Basso. I'll be like
Gianni.
What?
We will be like Gianni.
What? No, I'll cosplay Dorinja.
That means you gotta, grow your hair out and have the gross ponytail.
You know what I'll do? Wear that.
New Alan just dropped, guys.
That's
I think we're all a little unhinged right now.
I'm skittering around like a spider.
I'll dress like I'll wear that itchy male shirt Gignomai wears.
Oh, you're gonna wear the itchy hair shirt. Guys, I kind of want to do that. How hilarious! Like, if I was an author, like if I was him, I would be so touched that people dressed. I don't think he's ever in his life had someone come dressed as one of his characters ever.
I'll just dress in winter clothes and have a block of purple ink.
Oh, you're Nico?
Yeah, is Nico the emperor or was Nico the friend?
Nico's the emperor.
No, I'd be the friend.
What's the friend's name? It gives a P.
Gosh, I don't remember. But that guy.
I mean, yeah, he might be freaked out. How would you dress as Ziani, Evie?
I'm realizing I probably shouldn't do Ziani.
Anyway.
Okay, let's get back to Evie.
Anyway,
Yeah.
any other insights? I just thought like Parker's just he is just such a master character author. And the thing is, I like that even though we've all read enough Parker to kind of know like Evie was saying, there's kind of a flow of a template for Parker stories. We still don't know, like, if it was any other fantasy author, Neil Dukas is getting a redemption arc. Like, we know that. Like, we this is what we know about fantasy. I have no idea if Neil Dukas is getting a redemption arc. Like, Parker could easily have Neil Dukas just have the most ignominious, like dead in a ditch, stepped on by a horse, witnessed by nobody. Easily.
That's honestly how I predict he's going to end. He is going to be killed by duty. Like, I could easily see him running up to the army and getting blown off his horse by a cannon.
Or instead of killing Gianni, maybe he will come after Valence. Possible.
Meal gets the girl.
So, Sal has a good question for everybody. She knows Sal knows where I am in the Parker thing. Evie, what have you read?
So I read all of his collections. There are like a handful of I
There
think
should be a
5.
handful of novellas you haven't read.
Right, like Devil You Know, Downfall of the Gods, and then I've read The Hammer and the Folding Knife, and then obviously this.
Cool. Pete?
Yeah. I have read Purple and Black and about half to 3/4 of Academic Exercises. And then I have read The Hammer, The Folding Knife, and The Company, which is currently my favorite.
Anitha?
I read Folding Knife, Company, Hammer, Cyrus Korak's first 2 books. I'm reading third book, so that trilogy will be done, and this one.
So Sal, this familiarity didn't affect me at all with this series. It affected me way more with the Cyrus Korak's series, because a lot of it to me reads like his novellas. But for this, it hasn't. I don't think it's affected my enjoyment of The Engineer at all. What were you gonna say, Amy? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So I was going back through my. Thank goodness for Discord, because I went back through with my reaction notes to kind of boost whatever. I really, and I'm gonna reiterate. I said this in the message. For someone, KJ Parker / Tom Holt, who says that he doesn't know, he doesn't have the lived experience of a woman to be able to adequately write a female character. I'm paraphrasing his interview with Zara, but Beatrice is an amazing character, even though she's frustrating, just like with every single character. When she has the discussion, the conversation with Valens, she says, "I can't be blamed because somebody turned me into a weapon. You can't blame me for the war."
Yeah.
And that was so powerful to me. And I loved that. And it's also interesting how, like, Valens, when they're like going to cross the desert, he completely forgets about her. He doesn't even check on her. And she's grimy and dirty, and her, like, she twisted her ankle or whatever. And I really, really like Beatrice.
She doesn't expect. Okay, sorry. Finish your thought.
No. So, I mean, I agree. She doesn't. She never asked for anyone to treat her in the way she's been treated, to put her on a pedestal.
She doesn't expect that help from Valens at the time. At the same time, she's not passive aggressive. Always she comes and talks to Valens, and irrespective of what happened in her life, she stood more stronger than Orsia, and still, even now, she had the clarity of thought. Actually, she knows what she feels for Orsia, what she feels for Neil, what she feels for Valens very clearly, and also she knows where each person lacks and what she wants from each person. So though she doesn't have more dialogues, I really like that.
Yeah.
As an aside, I'm really disappointed, specifically Alan, that you did not respond to my chapter 25 spoiler image of Streets Ahead, and that.
Oh, I did see where it said that. Like, I missed that. I'm so glad you posted that.
By the way, apparently that's a very common phrase in the UK.
Yeah, but not for Pierce Hawthorne.
Yeah.
So I just found a quote that I highlighted, and Anitha, I think this goes back to just what different level Ziani is playing the game than Valens. It's early in the book. It's like chapter 12 or something, where he's saying, "What do you think I should do with Neil Dukas when he gets here?" And Ziani shook his head. "It's not up to me, I'm delighted to say. I don't think I could do that. Make decisions about other people's lives, I mean. You'd have to be so very sure you were doing the right thing, or else how could you live with yourself?" Which, I mean, he's a liar. And then Valens replies, "Oh, you manage," Valens said casually. After a while, you get the knack of being able to forget that they're people, and you start seeing them as pieces in a game or components in a machine. I'm not saying it's something to be proud of, but you can train yourself to do it easily enough. I'll take your word for it, Ziani said. It's not something I'd like to find out by experience. Like, Ziani already thinks like this. Like, and Valens is just so, he's just so far behind. Like, because Ziani is also just a guy who makes machines. These people are not leaders. They're not dukes and princes and kings whose job it is to lead and think like that. And so it's just, these people do not think the same. And that's how Ziani's able to get one over. And it frustrates me too, Anitha. Like, frustrates me to no end. But I just think that they're not, that they're just not playing the same game. Pete?
So real quick, sorry, Pete,
Go
before
ahead.
you start. So I think it was Dorinja. This is before I realized that I hate the guy. But Ziani is so surprised that he's able to create these things because he is so primitive. And they are, there was a quote, and of course I can't find it because I've got too many tabs. But he's so shocked that he's able to make this thing that he himself would not be able to make because it's too simple. And even he says, like, oh, I know it's just so simple. You guys are so used to, you Mezzantines are so used to, like, the factory aspect of it. Oh, that's what it was. So basically, like, the Mezzantines with the factories, you have your piecemeal components. You specialize in your components, whereas literally he made everything, and it was hand pressed and stuff like that, and it took so long, and it had just the feel of the craftsmanship rather than the almost well, I mean the
Sterile.
factory, yeah, the sterile. Thank you. The sterileness of being factory made. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, Pete. Go ahead.
There was a few moments in this book where Ziani is starting to get uncomfortable, and I hope that stays a thing because I think that's gonna really lead into what the theme of the last book is probably gonna be, which is first we have the failures of love, then we have the failures of duty, and I think we're gonna have the failures of, like, the tolerances or the specifications, like the failures of the Mezzantines in this last one. Maybe we'll see. But I feel like that Ziani starting to get out of his comfort zone and getting out of those, the tolerance is getting farther and farther or almost breaking them is like, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, to be fair, I still think that that's Ziani's purpose, whole purpose here is to bring the Mezzantine Empire down because of that thing about perfection is either, sometimes you have to completely destroy it to restart again. It was like a quote from the book.
So much that, like, seeing him as a revolutionary leader is just like, I wanted him like that in the first book, but he didn't give me enough leads to get that.
See, his final goal is always bringing down Mezzantine Empire, Mezzantine government, and he has everything in place. Even now, he has everything ready. Kurhadi's army is ready to take down Mezzantine Empire. He just need to build those seasons. The only thing I want to know is Valens going to go with him? How Gianni is going to use Valens and Meal now to achieve that goal? But because he is everything ready, he has Dorinja to help him. At the same time, he also has need to plan Dorinja's downfall. That's the only thing he did not take into consideration in his planning. So I want to know what he planned for Valens, Beatrice, and Meal, actually.
But Ziani doesn't want to bring down the Mezzantines. He wants to go home, and the only way he can do that is to bring down the Mezzantines. Like, him taking down Mezzentia is not the goal; it's the means to the goal. Like, it's the thing he has to do in order to get to go home. Because if the Mezzantines are not destroyed, they will never pardon him. Like he will never get the pardon that he wants. So he has to break the city and the government so that he can then go home and be with his wife, even though like that I don't really understand. I guess he's just ignoring the fact that she's remarried. He's like, oh well, that's only because I'm not there. Like maybe when I get there it'll be fine or whatever. But yeah.
So
I think what he thinks. Sorry, I think what he thinks is she married him out of necessary. Once he goes there, she'll be with him. I think that's what he thinks.
So there's a thing. I can't quote it because I didn't actually write the quote in the chat. But there was this line when he was like right around the time he was finding out that his wife was married to somebody else. He was talking about how if you build a machine and adjust it so that it can encompass one spare part or whatever, that is it worth it to rebuild the entire machine? That really is how, like, I think encapsulate what his plan is. I don't think he wants to necessarily completely destroy the Empire, but he's working towards something like that.
But why? But the thing is that like he
Because
never
of love.
The extra
no,
part.
but if it's because of love, it's to get back with his wife, which makes his wife the goal, not the destruction of the Empire.
What if it's his daughter?
To the end.
It's just his daughter then.
I mean, yeah, but still, like that doesn't. His goal isn't destroying the Empire. His goal is reuniting with his family, and he has to do it on the way. Like he's not.
Yes.
Okay, then we're on the same page then. Yeah. I agree.
So, tangentially, related. Maybe it was just me, but when we got to the part where the Mezzantines, the army canceled their contract with the Mezzantines,
hilarious,
and truly, I'm like, oh my god. It was fantastic. I love
contract. Sorry,
but
also
but at the same time, he left silver mines to them so that with that money they can buy another army. Actually,
but who?
They can with that money. I mean, they can hire somebody else. That's
no, they
that's
can't.
what at least
All the mercenaries that they work with have canceled their contracts. That's what it said. Like all of them, they don't have anybody else to hire.
they're looking for other cure-hardy tribes.
Theoretically, they could try to hire the same guys back. I don't think that. Also, I think Celis would be absolutely willing to pardon Ziani because he is becoming the biggest Ziani stan, if we're being honest.
Yeah, okay, like the Celis parts just get ignored because they're just like they're happening in the background, but I just love them.
They're great.
Oh, I agree. It was. I have some quotes from that section. It was almost disconcerting to listen to so much truth presented with so little conviction. And what a wonderful magic politics is, Celis thought. It can recognize the truth and still override it, provided you can get a consensus among the people who matter. And it's like, what a horrible, cynical, and yet true view of the modern political system.
I am disappointed we did not see Boyan's get taken down. That it was just like an afterthought of, oh yeah, he kind of was the fall guy for the entire.
I think we'll get more about that in the next book. Everything, how he planned everything.
Marry for love, not cavalry. I highlighted that line also. What a great line. Marry for love, not cavalry. Who? Okay.
What? You didn't get cavalry with your marriage?
What character is this? Extraordinary creature, he thought. Somewhere between a rat, a toad, and a spider with a long ponytail of dank black hair.
Oh, Dorinja.
It's just like, what a gross character. I wish Parker was more popular so that like there was some fan art of Dorinja, but I'm too afraid to search in case like there is and it spoils. Like it's like a picture of Dorinja like hacking into Ziani. Don't look it up, Evie.
What if he's like getting blown out of a cannon? French.
I don't want it ruined. Like we don't want it spoiled.
By the way, Pete, I think you mentioned this, so this is entirely giving credit where credit is due. Do you think they're going to create guns in the escapement?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Cannons at least.
Siege engines, maybe. Cannons, maybe. Guns, no.
Cannons is where he's going because the way they were talking about, I don't know if they're talking about casting it, Like it sounded more like cannons because they don't have the
Well, I
wherewithal
guess
to
like
figure out.
yeah, the combination of the
Where do they get steel?
No, it's not steel. They're using like bronze or iron or whatever. They're trying to Dorenja was trying to cast. He couldn't cast the tube. It's very clearly a cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because no pun intended. Well, actually, pun intended. It would be a really cool bookend to start with the Scorpions in Devices and Desires and in the Escapement with the cannons. But
Yeah. And for the whole figuring out where we are in the timeline of everything, it's a really good, I think, bookend or not bookend point to be like, okay, when was gunpowder and when everything discovered?
I am just eager, I'm eager to, because Mazentia City is mentioned in almost every Parker book because it's such a big city, but you don't know anything about it until you read this. So now you have context for when Mazentia City is mentioned in everything else. So I can't wait to.
I haven't noticed any of the
But I
references.
think actual Magentia City they mentioned in the world is not this one. They call this one Perpetual Republic. The actual Magentia City is the old empire they were talking about, where they were hiring those mercenaries. That's how I understood.
No, I think that's just where they're from. I don't think.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know there was ever anyone else in Anitha's house. I thought Anitha lived in a box.
Anitha's married.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious? I literally did not know that. I know nothing about Anitha other than that she is my loyal follower, and that's it.
hello, Mr. Anitha.
I know she lives. Oh my gosh, Mr. Anitha. I had no idea. I literally thought Anitha lives in the dorm room, and is working on her degree. Like, I had no idea. I had no idea. Well, now I feel bad. I was sitting there hollering at Anitha, and her husband's run off screen. Hollering at Anitha. I feel so bad. Okay, thank goodness. Whew. I'm gonna come on and be like, I'm gonna kick your duff, and I'm gonna be like,
Shows up on your doorstop.
So let me ask you this before we wrap up.
No, real quick. We have not talked about Mezentius.
Why is his name Mezentius? Like
that's a stupid singer. What are you doing, Parker?
Who would be
what about Nennius Nenianus?
Also, before you kind of start, Alan, the execution scene. I love chapter 23, but the execution scene that was really, really difficult for me to read. Like it made me turned my stomach. Just with the descriptions of it and the emotional reaction, and Emil Dukas is just like he's resigned himself and he's like, all right, I guess I'm going. So
yeah. And just what happens to Romain and his daughter?
Presumably they're with the Cure Hardies as well, unless the Aram Chat, unless they died.
I thought his daughter is the one who is going to rescue Meal. I did not think this other scavenger lady.
No, that was the scavenger lady from the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
Also, do scavengers pop up a lot in Parker's books, or is that just me?
Well, there's a book called Scavengers, isn't there?
And there's Savus Corvax.
No, that's Savages. But there's a Scavengers trilogy, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's up there.
Savus Corvax, it deals with that main character has a team which deals with this scavenger, whatever they are doing. I think that started as a business model in this trilogy. That's my guess.
Mm.
The execution was hard to watch.
Yeah, oh my god, that was like horrible.
And the fact that afterwards the messenger is like, oh no, I swear I told him. Like I came and told him that he was pardoned. Like no, that messenger did not. He just don't want to get in trouble. He's like, oh no, I told him. So
I don't know what he did. He must have just had a mental breakdown or something.
So predictions. Who
Neil
dies in the next book? Who dies in the next book? I'm going to predict. My guess is, I think Valens will die. I'm going to say Ziani will die because I want it to be so. But here's what's actually going to happen. Ziani's going to get the best of Durenja and kill him, and it's going to make me so mad. Neil Dukas dies. Valens dies. Maybe Ziani doesn't die. Durenja, Neil Dukas, Valens. I think those three die. I think Ziani survives, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I think well, Orsia is already dead. I think Beatrice is gonna die.
Really?
Yeah, I think Failure is gonna die. And then Celis. And Dorinja. I hope Dorinja dies too. So
What was the second one?
Failure.
Oh, stupid Failure.
Who is that?
That's
friend.
Falier.
Oh, sorry, Falier.
No, I like that you say Failure. That's way better.
I think if Ziani dies, Beatrice is the one that's going to kill him.
I don't see it happening. If anybody other than Parker, maybe there is possibility, but with Parker, I don't see that. Dorinja is going to die. Obviously, Gianni will definitely plan something for him, and Valence. Eel, I'm not sure where he comes into picture.
I definitely think Meal is going to die. Valens is a toss-up. I think I'm probably going to die, but I think Ziani is going to ride off in the sunset with the Aram Chatat and build a new Mezzantine empire.
Okay, I don't think that's going to happen, but
it's a very specific prediction.
It is quite specific. So check it out. I haven't entered in my data from Evil for Evil yet, but you can see the Aram Chantat are mentioned in Relics, the second two Cyrus Corex books, because I didn't do it for the first one, but I guarantee they're mentioned in that. Device and Desires, Evil for Evil. The Aram Novae, they're big in Sharps and Savages.
I'm kind of disappointed that you don't have like a north, south, east, west type thing, so that you can be like, okay.
Yet. That's why I just know I just know the name of it. And first of all, I'm going to get them down. Then I will try to place them places by searching them in the ebooks.
Got it.
If it's bolded, it's because it takes place. That's the main place it takes. It's the main
place
area. Yeah.
What is Relics? Is it a short story?
It's a novella in
Under My
Skin. Thank you. Saturninus, I got people too. So Saturninus is mentioned in basically everything.
So I am finding out just now that Saturninus is a place. I thought it was a character. No,
it is a character. That's what I'm saying.
It is a character.
I have people that are mentioned a lot too. Like I have Carnifex the Butcher.
Oh, got it.
Oh, sorry, Carnifex the Irrigator. I have him on here because he's mentioned a lot. Saturninus is mentioned a lot.
That can be useful for placing time as well.
Yeah. The Sashan Empire is Persia. It's 100% Persia. This is one I figured out at least. The Sashan, that's the one from Cyrus Corax, Anitha. Yeah. The Sashan, they're Persia. So I at least have that one. Sharia is where, that's the Sharps place. Sharia and Permia are the two places in Sharps. Stirapot, though I think Beatrice she's Beatrice de Sirapot, isn't she?
Yep.
Yeah, but the company island is Sirupot.
No, the island they go on is Sirapot?
Yeah.
Really?
It wasn't mentioned in company, obviously, but in Cyrus Corax first book, the one gold mines are there. I am guessing it's the same as the island from company.
This is the Engineer Trilogy is the first thing I've read that doesn't mention the Vasani Republic. Like with the Vasani Republic's always mentioned. So anyway, so yeah, that's how it's going, Sal. So first I'm going to read everything and get them in the spreadsheet, and then I will start coming through the ebook and finding out information about them and trying to place time and location.
I was gonna say, so you're gonna read them again to get time and place. Got it.
Mhm. Well, I mean, at least Google, at least like Control F the
Yeah.
mentions of them.
Oh.
Yeah,
Thank God for modern technology.
I know, right? Any final thoughts?
Guns.
Evie,
I got nothing.
are you still gonna like Ziani by the end of this book, Evie?
Listen, even if I don't, I'm sticking to this name because it would be hysterical.
Oh, I know. I raised that. I did raise that in Goodreads. But yeah, that was early on, where before I'm like, no, I'm reading Full Enough again next year for sure.
I really hope that he doesn't screw the pooch with the escapement, because this could be
Me too.
an all-time favorite series.
I agree. I agree, Evie.
So.
I'm hoping so bad that it just not gets that like it. And I'm even okay if something happens that I don't like, as long as it feels like, you know what, that's fair. Like, I see how we got here. It doesn't feel like a cop out. I just
It feels
don't.
earned, yeah.
Yeah, like I just like, if Ziani isn't murdered, like brutally cut down in the street by Dorinja and Meal Dukas, you know, then I'll be, or Saya comes out of nowhere and just like, because we didn't see the body, just like swoops in like a ninja from the tree and like spears his head.
Yeah. Remember, who was the one that executed Orsea? It was Nini Ninianis, right?
Dude, I thought that Ninianis died. Ninius Ninianis died because I read like the modifier wrong. Like, he gives a mess. He tells a messenger. He sends a messenger to the Aram Chantat, who then dies. But like it says, and then he died as soon as he. And I'm like, oh, poor Ninius Ninianis. And then I read it back and I was like, oh, I guess he's still alive. Never mind. Because I liked Ninius Ninianis. His name's so stupid.
I didn't realize how stupid it was until you said it out loud.
Ninius Ninianis. That seems like just a Vidani pattern. Like, first of all, Mezentius, what is that? Ninius Ninianus, Valentinianus. Like, what is wrong with these people?
Orsioli.
Yes, Orsea Orsioli, yeah.
Meal is the only one. Milioli.
Well, I guess it's kind of well, I am well, no. I was thinking like of like the royalty or whatever. They don't technically have last. I guess they do have last names, but
Meal is technically Duke Meal the Dukas.
He's not a duke. He's the Dukas, which is less than the Duke. But he always calls himself the Dukas, and yet it is still his last name.
The Duke and the Dukas.
Orsea's the Duke. Meal Dukas is the Dukas.
No, they're the Duke and the Duke and the Dukas.
That's a sitcom coming this fall on NBC.
Meal Dukas sounds like a name that like you're clearing your throat, like Meal Dukas.
I know. His catchphrase is going to be, oh, gotta do my duty. And it zooms in and everyone goes, oh, ha, 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 ha. Like every time he like takes the trash out or something, just doing my duty.
And then it's just going to break all over him as he tries to throw it in the trash can.
My name is Meal Dukas. I know you'll go and tell them and they'll come and kill me. It's all right. I can't
They
help
show up
it.
and they burn the house down. He said, I was just doing my duty. Zooms in. It'll be a hit.
Poor Meal.
And or say it's just like, oh, I don't want to go to work today. The customers at McDonald's are just so mean.
And it's all my fault.
McDonald's. Oh, man. Oh, there's no nuggets left, and it's my fault because I bent over to pick up a lucky penny, and the semi that was bringing the goods jackknifed off the road and ran into a school. Oh, nerds. and that'll be and then it'll have like a catchy theme song. It's just the most depressing sitcom of like all time. The Duke and the Duke. Coming 2024.
In next book, Duke and Dukas will pair up and come and like assassins. Like
it'll be like Batman and Robin.
And then like he trips and Meal Dukas like gets his head cut off. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, Meal Dukas. Oh, my friend is dead and it's my fault. Oh. And then the like decapitated head of Meal Dukas says, "That's all right, sir. I'm just doing my duty." And it's in. That's how it ends. All right. So that was Evil for Evil. We'll be back talking about the escapement here soon, and we'll see whose predictions are right. Evie and I have completely opposite predictions on who's going to die, except for Dorinja. Please let it be Ziani. Please. Please. I really just want everyone to die. I hope it ends with like a meteor comes and like wipes out all life on Earth.
Dorinja didn't discover gunpowder. He discovered nuclear fusion. Surprise twist.
Yes. Yes.
With that said, with all the predictions, just because I love KJ Parker's storytelling and writing so much, I am just along for the ride. Because just whatever he writes, I will read.
Yeah, the same. Like he's just so good. He does it's so unique what he does. Like I don't know anyone who could have written these books like with as long as they are and as I guess quote unquote slow as they are, with all the like, man, look, y'all need to keep those on your shelf for when the EMPs go off and we're all off the grid and we all need to know how to make our own metal tools. Like you just bust out Devices and Desires and Evil for Evil. You know how to start a foundry in your basement. So,
Basically.
I mean, seriously, survivalist manuals. And, then, you also know how to hunt.
Dude, next book's going to teach us how to make gunpowder. I swear. We're going to be great.
Gosh, crazy. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys in the chat for joining me. RJ Barker, he's the Bone Ships guy. Mitch.
He's saying he's trying to emulate KJ Parker.
Oh, he is. He's a cloud chaser. He is Mitch. All right.